8%. 8% is the amount of people who make plans, who make goals for the year and actually accomplish them. And this small percentage many times has to be about decision making. And it's about this that me and Ashley, or Ashley and me, will talk about today. Welcome! How are you?
I'm so good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I see that you are better than me because I'm freezing here.
You know, we had a little snowstorm. So like in the morning, like it was like snowing a lot, and now it looks like it just disappeared. And I was like, oh, I'm like, that's good, but it's
Oh,
still
that's
gloomy.
great. That's great. So, thank you so much for coming here and introduce yourself, please, because I didn't.
Yes, yes. So my name's Ashley Pakulski. I am a business and mindset coach. I help moms who started their business to really overcome that self-doubt and confidently start attracting their dream clients. And so that way they can go full-time in their business. I also work with She Rises Studios. I'm a best-selling author, speaker, so many different hats and a mom as well.
Yes, that's amazing. And this is very, it tends to be related with what we bring here today because how do you manage to handle so many hats? It's about decision making, right?
It is. It really is. It's actually, the funny thing is, I've been reflecting about this, how where I used to be before and where I am now, and how I'm responding, sometimes reacting to things, but how I'm managing it all, right? I don't like the word balancing, but like managing it all because before in the past, I would freeze and I would be stuck, and then I would just get so overwhelmed. And at times, it's more of like identifying your body, like that feeling, like I'm about to, like, explode, or I'm starting to feel overwhelmed. You're taking that time for yourself, but it's prioritizing decision making. But lately, I've been connecting with these words, and I was actually doing a live about this, like clarity, belief, empowerment, well-being, because you need those things. It's like a little component, like of a formula to follow, but you need that.
Yes, totally, totally. And you were talking about this, and I was thinking it's very related with what I work with my clients. Before we start all the process, we work on several things in the mindset level, and we work on the vision of success
Mhm.
because for you to decide where you want to go, you want to envision that. And many times people don't set goals for that or set goals because they saw someone that accomplished something and they think they also need that to be seen up as professionals or successful oh my gosh, successful people.
Don't worry, there's one word that I keep saying I can never get it right, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
And yes, it's very very important that, and I love that you bring that because it's very important to understand what we want and make decisions in alignment with the path we want to go. So sometimes we go a little bit aside, but we can have that awareness that we are going a little bit aside and go back to the path we want, right?
100%. I think with that too is like how you're saying, like the clarity, having that clarity, that clear direction. Because when we don't have that clarity, that's when that overwhelm starts coming in, right? Or even like too, like I talked about this today too, is like you feel like you're so high up, and then you start going down, 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 and it's just like because you're feeling that overwhelm because you don't have that clarity of direction, where you're going, what's going to happen, that outcome. So it's really, art planning, and this is what I used to do all the time. I used to plan so much. I still plan. I have my to-do list, I have my calendar, I have whatever I need to do, that I need to put everything in my phone just in case I don't forget. But but the thing is though, is you can plan, but that mindset piece, that belief in yourself, If you don't have that, your plan's not going to be working, right? You're not going to be taking that action. That's when you're going to start either procrastinating, you're going to start self-sabotaging, or you're not even going to be attracting the right people to you because you're just going to keep hitting that brick wall. You're going to be showing up on social media, or making these connections or these posts and stuff like that, but you're not going to have that belief in yourself and that energy you're putting out there, right? Because if your mindset's telling you like, oh, this is hard, or like I can't do this, or maybe I'm not good at this, or maybe I can't do this, like you're putting it out, and you could be taking the steps. And that's why I like to go back to this analogy kind of thing. I hope that's that word. See, I do it too. but you have someone, two people, they invested, they're working with this coach, and they want like that multi-millionaire gold plate like formula of what to do. This one's taking the action and she's getting results. This one's taking the action, not getting the results. It's not the strategy. What is it? It's the mindset. It's the beliefs, right? So it's really looking into that. I thought that is so powerful.
Yes, totally, totally. And what do you work, or what do you recommend, the steps to start? Because I always say I'm not very good at planning, but the truth is that I plan very much. But sometimes I see myself holding myself from taking action, and then I have lots of plans, in several places even, and I see myself starting to plan again when I already made that,
Hmm.
and I don't actually take action. Um, and this is a work in progress, right? We are
Yeah.
always working on that. But what do you recommend? What do you work with your people,
Yeah.
so they can start working for their goals?
Mhm. Honestly, so first things first, I always say it's about your energy. It's how you're feeling, right? Because if you're worn down, you're not going to be like taking that action. You're going to be like, like say for example, if you're in a reactive mode and you're just pissed off and you're not having it, you're not going to have that mental clarity, right? So taking care of yourself. I always say start your day with a morning routine, nighttime routine. Another thing is even if you're getting upset, something happens because life happens, take that 2 seconds, go do some breath work, meditation, get yourself together, go for a nice walk, whatever it is to be in that good
Mhm.
energy. You're going to be more productive. You're going to take more of that action. Next thing is I always like to do is like, I like to brain dump. I like to put everything on a piece of paper. I like to have notepads as well. I'm trying to switch it to my phone to save paper, but I just like paper. And I always brain dump everything, or even I write out my to-do list, and I reflect back, right? Because, there are tasks that you are going to keep repeating that you're doing over and over and over. And if that's what I find myself that I'm doing, it's not important. But when I brain dump, I like to circle three things, right? And keep that as a focus, right? Another great thing is that when I plan that in, I'm looking at my strategy that I'm using that week for my business. So I'm not overcomplicating things. If it's like, going into Facebook groups, content, whatever it is, stuff like that, like I have it on a calendar kind of thing. And that's what I highly recommend, is having the calendar, like I have it on my fridge. So I'm a visual person, so you can see it, right? But the key is not overdoing with, you know what I mean, with creating that plan. You want to simplify and be specific with the plan. So how can you make it more easy for you to do it? Do you get what I'm saying? So I like to have my computer area to like everything, my workspace. I have my coffee in the morning. I do my morning routine beforehand and stuff like that. I have my setting over here set up and I work, right? And I take breaks in between, but I have my list already set and I already have everything preset as well. So at times, what I like to do too, and sometimes I forget to do this, but I like to put my Facebook post, what I'm going to create, and have it already set so that the next day I'm just copying, paste, putting it on, right? My lead post, I already have that in my notes app. It's already made, it's already set. So for example, take Thursdays off. I don't like doing Sundays because Sundays I don't want to think about anything, but
Me
yes, my
too.
self-care time. So like Thursdays, and like spend the 30 minutes and just give ideas. What can I talk about? What am I going to focus on in my business? And you really want to simplify it. You want to break it down, like your end goal of what you want, but breaking it down. Because a lot of times we have that end goal of this is what I'm going to do, and then you don't do it because you know what I mean? Like you have to
Yeah.
really break it down backwards kind of thing. So,
Yes, when we only focus on the big task or the big goal,
mhm.
it gets very overwhelming, and we don't understand. Okay, what do I need to do to accomplish this, right?
Hmm.
And yes, I like very much to set time blocks
Yes,
for my
yes. I was going to actually
work,
mention that.
so I don't need to think very much. Uh, I'm not rigid to from this hour to this hour is this, but I like at least to have time blocks for each day.
Hmm.
On that day, it's about this or that, and that day, so I can handle my personal life and my business also,
And
and
yeah, no,
and
100%. Another thing, sorry, I wanted to add in is doing the things that you like. Yes, there's going to be things in your business that you don't like doing, but for example, like me writing content, yes, it's like delegating it. So that's the next step I'm looking at is to delegate that because I'm like, that would be a huge super help, right? But I'm like, okay, I like to write content. I'm not the best at it, I think. Like, you know what I mean? And it's a little time consuming for me, but what do I like to do better? What do I want to do more of? And that's reels, going into my stories, going live, going on podcasts, going into the media. So it's really figuring out what is it that you want to spend more of and doing in your business that's going to help you to get you where you're going, right? Because if you're doing the same thing over and over, like we always like have these goals. I know this was me in the past too. Is like you have this big goal and you're doing the little action step, that's it. You're not reaching to that next level part of it, and it's like figuring out why. But this is doesn't go down to just the planning because again, you can have the strategies, you can have the planning. It goes to your mindset, your beliefs about yourself, right? So if you are having things that are like, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not good enough, or this is just hard, like you really have to be acting that subconscious conscious level. And it's all about stepping into that new identity, breaking that old, stepping into the new. So it's not always, like I always say, it's not always about the strategy, right? It's about who you're becoming doing
yeah.
this as well to achieve those goals.
Yes, it's a little bit of what do I need to be to
Mhm.
become that version
Yeah.
we want, right? Because many times we think when once I'm on that level, I will be such way, right? And we need to start so we can achieve. And sometimes it's I like to do it step by step because it can be very overwhelming. And okay, what's the area that I'm going to focus now? What, or for example, doing lives, what is the thing, the little thing I can improve, right? Because it's not about being perfect, but
Hmm.
improving
Yeah,
over
yeah, and we're
time.
always learning. And I think that's a lot of times where people hold themselves back is that perfectionism of, oh, it needs to be perfect. To me, I just call that excuses because I do it too. Oh, I'm not going to do it when I'm ready. Or like, oh, no, I'm not ready because like I need to make sure that this is perfect with this and then I'll do that. And it's like, take that messy action. That's where you're going to learn. That's where you're going to get out of your comfort zone. That's when you're going to achieve more of what you want to accomplish because you need to be doing something different. If you keep doing, and you're not getting that result you want to do something different, right? To get to where you want to go because then it's going to be the same shit every day.
Totally, totally. That's quite right. Tell me one thing. Do you plan for the whole year, or or do you like to semester, quarterly?
So I legit, everything changes up for me. And I remember my mom always saying, oh, I always plan last minute because you never know what happens. And I feel like that kind of like stuck with me and it's just like surprises happen. So I don't plan for the whole year. I do little side stuff of like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. I like a month plan. I have the whole month laid out for myself and I say this is where I'm gonna focus on this. But I go deeper each week by day. Do you get what I'm saying? So I break it all down for myself
Mhm.
so that I know where I'm focusing on. I always like to say too, like even with my energy part as well too, like with my direction of where I'm going, right? So I do an exercise every year of like what I want to accomplish the whole year of that, whatever. So I have that vision, I have that goal, I have my vision board, I do that stuff, yes. But I feel with me, like if I had for the whole year, which I still am working on my business plan of creating, and I always say like that's a great thing to have as well because there's different opportunities with that. But I like to focus on my monthly, but then like with my weekly and then my daily kind of thing. As for the sales as well too, right? But mind you, like I do have like the point form parts of it, like like the beginning of the month I'm focusing on this. The next 3, 4, 5 months I'm focusing on that, but I go more deeper,
Mm-hmm.
closer to it. I hope I made sense there.
Yes, totally, totally. When I started on the planning, because I'm very on the go,
Yeah, that's
kind of.
I'm just like you have to feel like I'm with the
Yes,
flow. Like
yes,
it's not my flow today, I'm not doing it. I'll work
totally.
on something like
I'm very much like that. But then I understood it was on the last minute, and I started to plan some years ago, and I started with the whole year, and it was so overwhelming, and then it was so frustrating because life
and you
happens,
don't hit
and
it. You don't hit it. And then after you're like, shoot, and it puts a bigger damper on you kind of thing as well. That's why I love doing like, yes, you need to have a plan. You need to know where you're going. Like the vision board. I love vision boards, right? Numbers, they say you need to know your numbers and all that stuff. I'm not a number person. I hate numbers. I'll estimate around it. You know what I
yes,
mean? Like have the estimate, like whatever. But like, so I completely agree. Like like it kind of brings you back down, right? So yeah.
yes, totally. You told about the vision board. When do you create it, and where do you have it?
Yeah, so I love with my daughter, we always did this like on New Year's Eve, but now I just did okay, like New Year's Eve, we do our own little thing. So like I do a little bit before that. So I have it on I used to do on a big Bristol board, and like I would have it in my room with my intention word, all of that. But now what I do is I leave it on my phone screensaver and on my computer. So I'm always looking at it no matter what. It is there on my phone and I see it every day. And it's like, and that's something I learned about too. This is one thing too. It's the feeling, right? So you can have your goals, and like I always planned, wrote everything on paper, whatever, but it's like really visualizing it and really feeling into it, how it would feel.
Mm-hmm.
Taking in the stuff of what do I need to be doing right now to get to that goal and be that person now, right? So taking that action step, doing it, because that's what's going to bring you closer to your goal, right? So I think that is more like efficient, more fundamental, more important to be doing, to be honest with you. That's like what works for me much better completely.
Yes, I love it. Yes, and I also use the phone screen or the saved one, right? I use that, and it's visual. It's
Yeah.
there, and we don't forget because the first time I made some years ago, I put on the wall on the office wall, but many times I wasn't there.
Mhm.
Then my past business was a jewelry designer, and then I would have it on my studio, but on the studio it wasn't there. Then I started to put on my phone because my phone is, we have a whole world in our phone, right? And you were telling that what's not in your calendar, it may miss, and with me it happens. If it's not there, it doesn't exist. And this week I had a situation like that, and it was
No,
okay.
it
But
happens.
it happens. But we nowadays we need to think in so many things, and we women need to, we have so many things over to with the business, with the children, and so many things to, so many plates to spin, right? And it's important for us to use these tools that help us save mental space.
It does. It keeps your
Yeah.
sanity, like to prioritize, like what's the next step, the next thing I need to be doing. And sorry to interrupt you, but like I know in the past before too, when I was always overwhelmed at like, yes, I had my plan, whatever, but I was like, oh my gosh, but I was busy being busy, doing the things that weren't even important. But once I started having that clarity of where I'm going and what I'm doing, I'm like, okay, this is the next step. This is what I need to be doing. And then life happens. I have things that pile up on me all the time. And yes, I start to freeze, but I take that step back and breathe. But it's like, okay, logically, like what's the next step I need to be doing right now? This is the next step I need to be doing right now that's going to bring me closer to this, that's going to get this. And then the overwhelm just goes away because you're taking that right action.
Yes, totally. And I was here thinking that this has very much it's very much related with the why, right? You were telling about that, understanding where is the path we want to go, and this also impacts the way we show up, because if we don't know, we won't show up with the same energy, we won't show up just because we are not in the mood, we don't know what to say. Right? It impacts many things. So what is your why?
My what, sorry? My
Why?
why? My why? So my why is my daughter. Like my daughter. And honestly, like I've had a life of like up and down, whatever. We all have our own little story. And giving birth to her, like I always say, like we're a team. Like honestly, I'm a single mom and like she has her dreams and passions, and I'm always helping her. And like, even though I was going through my stuff, like I was still raising this resilient little girl. And I'm so proud of her because let me tell you where she's at right now. I'm like, at that age, I was already rebelling, doing all the things, whatever. And she's so great. Like she's amazing. So she's my why, to show her that you can have it all, you can achieve. I think a lot of times we're grown up where it's like, you need to be this in order to have that, or you need to whatever the case may be, all those limitations. And I really want to show her, and especially the fact that we have one life to live, right? That you can make the most of it. You can do anything you want, and you don't have to be in this fight or flight mode all the time, in survival mode. You can be present and intentional. And she's my why to have that financial freedom. She's my why to wanting to travel the world and have so much fun. She's my why to I want to build this empire and transform people's lives worldwide. She's my why that I want to open up a mental health addictions organization foundation in the future and to really impact people's lives, because you know we are all children. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't see it. I remember, like, even with my mom, I would be like, and that's another why, to show my mom, like, I had my messed up lifestyle, but look what I did. Look what I created to help other people. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, yeah,
Beautiful.
it's like an all over explanation kind of thing, but it goes really deep because at the end of the day, it is my daughter. And I just want to show her. I just want to show her that you can have it all.
Beautiful, beautiful. And wait, so beautiful. Oh my God, it's a very. I'm getting a little bit emotional.
Oh,
One phrase I use very much about this theme about decision making and the goals and all the things is that if nothing changes, nothing changes, right? We hear this all the time. But this week I heard another one. I don't remember who said it, but let me see if I remember. I Now that I said this one previously, let me see. Um, the things you decide. Oh, I don't remember. Oh my
the
gosh.
things you decide about yourself, if it's true, then it's true, or did I just make that up?
No, the things you decide not change are the things you decide to accept. It's something like this. I'm not finding it, but I think I saved it. But it's something like that. And I was like, oh, what are the things that I decided? to conform with, right?
Mm-hmm.
It let,
Yeah.
it let me think about it. So, what is a quote that gives you awareness to this? Do you have one?
Like, sorry, can you explain that a little bit more? Like the like a
Do
quote,
you
like
have a quote or
oh, quote.
motivation? Yes.
I would say I like the word unstoppable. It's not a quote. I could find lots of quotes I could relate to. I'm the type of person, like my daughter's like playing a song and I'm like, oh, I love this song. She's like, you don't even know the name of it. I'm like, no, I don't know who sings it, but I just love it. So I'm
That's
like that type of person. So anything I see, I'm like, oh, I love that. That's mine. But I think what's actually there is a quote I would say. Oh my gosh, what is it? Some I can't remember before. Oh my gosh. Anyways, I'm not gonna stay here for like 5 minutes thinking about it. But yeah, see, brain fart. I like Unstoppable Sia. It's a song. Like I don't know. I'm sure you probably heard it. But like even when I'm feeling down or low or whatever, I'm just or like if I'm getting into work and I'm just
mhm.
like, okay, you know what? Like let's get the energy up, kind of thing. I just love listening to it. It really like amplifies my mood and brings up my energy. So but like with the quote, oh my gosh, they thought, what does that say? They thought that she didn't but she could or something. I can't remember. Something whatever. I used to have it on my keychain and then it broke.
You
She
were
said
talking.
she
I think I
she
know
said
that.
she wished.
Yes.
I can't remember. Oh my gosh, now this is gonna bug me. I'm gonna go have to find it.
Uh,
She said she
we are
could and then she did.
very related. I see.
She said
The
she could
coaching.
and then she did. I think it's like she said she could and then she did.
It's something like that. Yes, yes. I love that. I love that. I wanted to ask you for that because many times with all of the conversation, some things may not grab attention, but quotes normally people remember, right?
Code? I'm
So
looking for code words.
so yes. Do you have any? I don't say tip, but do you have some advice you want to give to who is watching or will watch on replay about this we are talking
Yeah.
today?
I want you to know that anything that you desire, you can achieve. It's not that it's hard or it's impossible. There's impossible is I'm possible. There's another quote. See, now they're coming up from my sleeve, under my sleeve. Um, you just really don't even have to know the how. It's just that burning desire within you, having that clarity, having that belief in yourself, and knowing that you can do it. Things gonna happen and you're gonna want to fall back sometimes, but having the right tools, the right support, the woman beside you to be able to work through it. And when there's some thoughts that start coming, it's becoming aware of those thoughts, becoming aware. Even one thing actually I would challenge you to do, and this is what I start doing too, if I'm doing a task and I'm trying to avoid it, really getting to your body and feel like, why am I avoiding this? Why am I really pushing it away? So you're starting to become more aware and you can look for proof and evidence as well as to remember that time when I did it and I achieved it, or remember when I did this and I did it, right? So because your brain is always trying to protect you and keep you safe, so it will think of many excuses and give you all the excuses, but you just have to have that clarity and that belief. And it's so funny I did a live about this today because those words are like sticking around me like lately.
That's great. And it is true. We always need to look for evidence that will change the mindset, the beliefs we have now, because we are always looking for the mistake. We are
Mhm.
always looking for the negativity,
Yeah.
and we need
And we need
to
to
change
fix
that.
that. We need to change that. We need to teach our even children. Like I teach my daughter, I say it's so easy to think about what's not working or this or that, be the critic. Start looking at what is working, right? And I felt that with my brain too. Like even like oh my gosh, it makes you so tired, right? Because especially like in the morning, sometimes in the evenings, you start overthinking. But it's like being happy. at where you are present, right? And focusing on what you want to create, not what's, bringing in a tornado circle.
Yes, totally. I say this a lot. Our journey is like a ladder, right?
Mhm.
And many times we only look to what we want to accomplish. We look to the up, and we forget to look aside, to look behind, and see how many we already. Thank you.
Oh,
Esqueci no coisa. Ok, obrigada.
oh, oh.
My son is bringing me the tea. I heated that and I forget it about it.
A wonderful son. See?
So I was saying, we many times forget to look to the steps we already climbed,
Mm.
right? We are so focused to that goal to climb it, and oh my gosh, it's so difficult and it's so many steps to get there, and we forget that. And for me, I try to be when I'm more in a lower phase. I try to embrace that because for me, some years ago, I would never say I would be making lives or a reel or being on stories, right? Because of my anxiety. So yes,
Yeah.
we need to. Many times we forget, and then sometimes we also don't put ourselves in other one's places and other one's shoes because we forget how was when we were like that, right?
And there's that saying too. They say, what do they say? Where we are now is what we used to pray about before, right? So it's just like, huh. And I'm like, oh, that is so true. And I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like we're always looking for the next best thing to make us happy, fulfilled, or whatever. But that's what it is, though. That's the happiness within yourself, being happy present now, having that clarity, and like, yeah. So I just want to share
Yeah,
that story because it just like popped in my
yes,
head.
totally, totally, totally. Yes. Tell us, where can we find
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, so you can find me here at the Ashley Pakulski or even Facebook. I have a wonderful community, Mompreneur Success Circle, attract your dream clients, and I can definitely pass on. I don't know if you can share the links or not, but whatever, we'll make something
No,
work. But
but
you can
this
go to my profile and you can go to Linktree, and then you can see that's my bio, and you can get everything there. There we go. See, I'm usually on
great.
Facebook.
That's great. That is great. So thank you so much for being here
Thank you. I
and
love chatting with you.
your
Thank you.
time. Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, you're
See you
welcome.
soon.